Buddy here, Larry, who's done many years of processing deer meat. I think 50 years, he said. This guy's amazing. It would take me like an hour to do this. I'm pretty sure it's going to take him less than that to do that.
Cutting purposes, you don't need a lot of tools. I like my meat hook that just protects your fingers. You can get in places where you can't with your fingers. A good sharp knife. This is a Forstner knife. A nice butcher steel to help keep the blade sharp. And then we have a hand saw that you can use. Actually, a shorter one would work probably better for deer, but I used to cut beef up and everything, so I have the full-size hand saw. Basically, I use the shoulder areas for venison, ground venison, or use it to process hot dogs if you want to make hot dogs, and or stew meat. And then I take the back straps out. I use them like in roasts, but if you want to thaw them out and cut them into steaks or butterfly them into steaks, you can do that, but I feel it keeps a better freshness if you just freeze the whole piece. We'll pull the tenderloins. Each leg, I usually will take 3 roasts out of each leg. The sirloin tip, the bottom round, and the inside here is called the top round. And so that's basically how I process my deer. And like I say, there's many good ways to do it, but this is the way I prefer. One of the first things I do is any little stray hairs, I use a propane torch, and I sort of zip them off, and it makes it so there's less of a mess when you're cutting your venison. I don't care who you are, when you skin deer, there's going to be some amount, a few pieces of deer hair on the legs and around the shoulders, and this vaporizes them pretty quick. And then the inside, some here, take this. Okay, that should about do it. Thing is, I'll take the hook right off, or the shoulders right off, using the hook. There we go. I'm going to take this bloody part out. Get some of this fat. The buck had some nice fat on it, huh?
Yes, he did. He was eating corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Get that ball joint out. Taking out the shoulder bone. scapula. I don't know if this is true or not, but some people say the Indians used to take these scapulas and make paddles out of them, canoe paddles. As you can see, some of this meat is very good if you want to use it for stew. You can cube it into stew pieces. Pull these tenderloins out. I'll peel this flank back a little bit. Start up in here for the tenderloin. Make a cut, following along the spine. Then down along the tenderloin. I take my meat hook and it'll come right out. I'll just trim it up a little bit. If you can leave the fat over the tenderloin on until you get a chance to cut it, it's better so the tenderloin doesn't dry out. Here's that one. Here's the other one right here. Take the cut across the top of the tenderloin. Come down along the spine. Come down along the other side of the tenderloin. Take my magic meat hook. It saves from getting caught. And you can pull that right out. So there's the second tenderloin. The next step, pulling the back straps out. So there's a hip bone, right here is the hip bone. You go across the bottom of that hip bone, then you follow right down along the backbone, like that. Make a parallel cut, like this. Take the magic hook again here. And we're going to pull this right out. Come out. Goes clear down, right down to the neck. There's your loin, or back strap. Pull it out of from the fat. Go there. Now, a lot of people, you have this silver skin. You can take that right out if you want. I just take the heaviest part of it out. If you want to take more off later when you thaw it out, you can. Actually, it sort of protects the meat while it's being frozen. So I usually cut it into 3 pieces, like this. Trim it up. So there's 3 nice pieces of boneless backstrap. Now, just to show you, if you want to make butterfly chops, you can cut halfway, well, maybe 2/3 of the way through, make one cut all the way through, and you have a butterflied backstrap. Okay, same thing, we'll peel it out. Cut the meat off here. The rest of the meat off of this, off the rib cage. There's the meat on this side. I'm going to take the flank off. Trim some of this out. Some people will take these ribs, just cut them out and make you want rib roast or like ribs for the grill. Okay, there's that. Yeah, Omar wanted me to explain to you a sharp knife is a crucial tool. You're more likely to get cut with a dull knife because you slip off the meat and you'll cut your hands or whatever. So get the knife as sharp as you can. I usually get it so I can shave the hair off of my arm. I learned that from my dad had a slaughterhouse, and so I always made sure my knife was sharp, and I would test. And I always had a bare arm. I never had hair on my arm.
And I'm going to attest to that. Your knives are very sharp because I have cut myself multiple times with your knife. So,
all right. So now we're going to take the legs here. We're going to pop them off from the pelvic area, the bone, and there we go. There's a ball joint, the hip joint. Got to cut down into that hip joint and follow the pelvic bone around. This is a buck that Omar shot. Okay, so I'm going to trim up this leg a little again. Okay, now basically on these legs there's three major muscle groups. First one I'm going to take off is the sirloin tip, and it starts here at your hip bone there, at the hip joint. Cut straight down along the edge of the femur, and we'll cut this right off. Right here is your sirloin tip. I'm going to peel the skin off here on it. Hook that. And I'll peel this right back. Just like that. Then I'll clean up the rest in a while. Taking this, and there you go. A very nice sirloin tip roast. If you'd like, you could slice it for steaks, you know, when you thaw it out. You can make stew meat out of it if you wanted to do that. But I suggest keeping these muscle groups frozen whole because they'll keep better that way in the freezer. Okay, there's that. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is take off what we call the top round. It's the muscle. It's on the inside of the leg, and you just follow down till you will hit a seam. The seam separates this top round from the bottom round. So I take that off, just like that. There's your top round. I'm going to trim it up a little bit. There we go. Here. Okay. There you go, a nice top round roast. Or, like I say, you can cut it into steak, stew, make jerky out of it, whatever you'd like to do with it. Alright, next is we're going to get the bottom round out. I'm going to take this bottom round and trim it up. Here is a, right in here,
Let me look.
sitting right in here on top of the bottom round, there's a gland right here, and we're going to cut that right out. You don't want to be eating gland. So take that out, cut that up, trim this up. Say a lot of this meat, if you want to work into stew meat, you can, but we're using it for grinds. This. There you go with a nice bottom round roast.
So
all right, well, we completed the task. We got the deer boned out. The hamburg meat Omar has wrapped up in plastic bags to take, have it ground. Here's our roast of various cuts. Probably got about 25 pounds there and roughly 20 pounds of ground venison. So out of that deer, about 45 pounds of meat. You can sort of estimate that whatever your hanging weight is on a deer, about 1/3 is boneless meat. So if you have 120 pounds of field dressed deer, you're going to get roughly 40 pounds of meat out of it. So that's just a rule of thumb.
There we go. My buddy Larry helped me. He cut the deer. I didn't do nothing. I was just doing the filming. Very proficient guy doing this. And Larry and I were talking a little bit. I mean, everybody does it different. If you have more time to do it, to get into the meat, to get more out of the deer, you could do that. For what we use to meat, like roast and ground meat, is just enough for us. I mean, you could get out. You could get very detailed with this. So, but Larry just did it quick. It took him about 40 minutes. I was timing him. It probably could take him a lot less. But he was talking in between the videos, so I'm going to give him a little grace for that. Hey, listen, get out there and enjoy God's great outdoors through hunting, fishing, hiking, whatever you like. If you like processing deer, go do it and make some memories, guys. And we'll see you guys on the next video.